G'day guys, welcome back to the Aussie Gooner channel. It's all shits and giggles and smiles. London is fucking so red, it's not funny. And I'm telling you, me and my guys here, we could not be fucking happier. We go down to White Hart Lane and show these guys how to play some fucking football. But before I get into that shit, I want to introduce the boys to the boys if you don't know them. I got Prince Fuad over here, bro. How you doing, Prince? How you going, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Feeling good?
Feeling red.
Akpos, you're back, bro. You're back. You're back to give us your feelings and your vibes about the game that came, went, and was, bro. How's things, bro?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm excited. I don't think it could feel so much better to be an Arsenal fan right now, because I think we have players who are making us proud, players who they seem to be listening to everything we are talking about as fans, and they know how to fight for the badge. And we are hoping that come the end of the season, we'll be able to sing the name on the back of their jersey in praises.
Spot on, man. I like that. Ken, it's been a while. How are you? Look, you got to be happy. I'm going to ask you how you are, but I know you're happy. But how you feeling? You were at the game. How you feeling, mate? Can anyone hear Kenny Ken?
No.
So I'm muting myself. Sorry. The reason, you know, when you've had a big game and you've had a like I said, very good time, when you wake up in pain. And the reason I mean in pain is because I ain't got no word of a lie. You know, it was like the journey getting to Islington was I was in Islington anyway, so that was fine. Getting on the tube, brilliant. We had a good laugh. Then basically we thought, you know what, stuff it. Let's just walk to the grounds. None of this like escort rubbish. We just had a nice little walk. It was just hilarious. It was hilarious. I'll tell you one thing about Tottenham. The Tottenham area, because obviously I know it quite well, but I actually forgot, because I only go there about probably once a year now for away games. If you go down Tottenham High Road, you'll never go hungry. I promise you, mate.
That good.
You've got everything there for your convenience. If you want a kebab, it's there. You want a Chinese, it's there. You want like I said, Greek food, is there. They had foods from all over the world, West Indian and everything. Because some of the guys were really hungry, but for obvious reasons, we didn't want to make ourselves well known, because we got spotted by a few Spurs fans. But I'll tell you one thing, that's when I knew I was gonna have a nice day, because even though I didn't eat, I felt like I ate, because the food, the smell of all the food was brilliant. And then getting the ground, you know, the atmosphere was already cooking already because it's Spurs. But that performance was quite unbelievable, quite astonishing, because maybe it's not a case of me just kind of sort of downplaying Arsenal's credentials. I actually put Tottenham up there in terms of their fight for the derbies. I always thought that, they are second half Tottenham, and you know they have been inconsistent, especially in the first half. But I always thought that when they played us, that they'll raise their game, you know, threefold, and it didn't materialise at all. They quickly lost their heads as soon as the first mistake. You could tell from even before we scored a goal, when Lloris made his first error via his feet, that you thought, you know what, we're in control here, and we never let it go, even though they had chances. We knew Aaron Ramsdale was going to make those saves. So I'm ecstatic. You should have been. The stadium was fantastic as well. Spurs fans were absolutely muted, gutted. You know, the only time there was any bit of passion is when some idiot threw two cups of full. We don't know if it was beer or something disgusting, but it came down our end.
Oh,
but it missed me and the guy next to him by about a few inches, but it hit someone else. And then afterwards you had some prat who was believe it or not, in the posh seats trying to get at the fans, because some of our fans were just waving them goodbye, and it was too much for him. The defeat was too much, and he tried to jump in the crowd and come for us. But apart from that, we missed all the commotion at the other end, because we just saw everyone breaking up. You guys got a better angle of it. Maybe you guys could talk about it in later on this show.
Well, mate, honestly, I what I saw is I saw Spurs fans leaving nice and fucking early. And when you were talking about noise, Yeah, the noise was us. Literally, after 15 minutes, it was us. Like, I mean, this game, before this game even kicked off, me and Akpos were talking about, what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't expecting a dominant performance, but I was expecting to be in control. For me, it was like, we're going to be in complete control. But I never thought that we would dominate these guys to that point. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, you tell me, Fuad, were you expecting Arsenal to dominate? Because we dominated them from end to end. They had half chances here and there, but the rest of the game was us. Did you expect us to dominate them like this at White Hart Lane?
Yeah. I expected it. I said it's like the other day when I went on other shows, I was too confident. I was overconfident because I look at it like this. These Arsenal players are in there to try and make a name for themselves at the same time. So when they find like, oh, this guy's linked, this guy's linked, this guy's linked, they up their game. Because no one wants to be linked with them. But it's like, no, that's when they up their game. So these guys are trying to make names for themselves. So I know when they go to White Hart Lane, I thought, that they're going to, I knew they were just going to go there and just do, because bro, this season they do it everywhere. So I knew they were going to Tottenham, and I know form goes up the way, but this Arsenal team are different. People can see that, and that's why you get a lot of people, and especially when you got pundits coming out saying, "I don't believe." They know what time it is.
Yeah.
When pundits come out and tell you that, they know what time it is. They can see Arsenal going all the way. I believe, and I know, I believe, and I know we're going to win it. I just think we're going to win the title.
Mate.
I know we're saying it's early days, but you can't do that to Tottenham. I'm not going to win it.
Mate.
Teams are scared of us.
Teams
are scared of us.
I can agree with you on every point. Win the title, I'm not ready for it yet. No, I don't know about you, Kenny Ken. I I don't think you were too confident for this one, were you? I didn't think you. I think you were thinking more of it. What were you thinking on this game?
You know what? I'm with you in this. I'm not ready to talk about a title.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm only going to talk about the title when we get to probably the last 10 games and we're still in that position, and I'll look at and then I'll start thinking, well, we've got a chance here. Right now, I'm not even going to permit myself to even talk about a title. It's been way too long. Yes, there's signs that we are in a good situation in terms of like the games we've negotiated, the way we're playing, the tests we're meeting, and the fact that physically, athletically, we're quicker, sharper than every team we've played. But with 20 games to go, with the size of our squad, I'm taking one game at a time because I've been here before. I've been burnt before, and I still have a tremendous healthy respect for Man City and what they're capable of, and the fact that they're still the team to beat. And I've got a grudging respect for Ten Hag and what he's done with Man United. But the fact is, it's nice to have a cushion, nice to have a big cushion. But the most importantly thing is that champions don't celebrate winning the title after 18 matches. They go on to the next game and they focus and try and perform the same they did before. That's what champions do. And I think every Arsenal fan should have a championship mentality, have the same mentality as the players. Yes, by all means, think about what it'd be like and blah, blah. Sing all your songs you like. But everyone collectively has got to be focused. You know what I mean? Don't get carried away. On to the next game. See it for what it is.
Yeah.
Accept that we played well. We've got a very good side. We beat Spurs rather than lose the game. But Man United next. Focus. No over celebrating.
Look, I think it's a good point when it comes to focusing on one game at a time. For me, that's the key to being successful. Going too far ahead and getting ahead of yourself sometimes can cost you. It's good to be confident, but it's also good to be a little bit realistic. Honestly, like for me, I couldn't agree more. I don't know about you, Akpos. What are you thinking? I mean, I know. Were you expecting a dominant performance, and what are you thinking about this title run that we're looking like we're on?
Well, for me, going into the game, I think I was very confident. I've not been confident going to play Tottenham Hotspur at their home in a very long time, as I was prior to the game. And when we talked on what we expected during the preview show, we both agreed that one of the key areas where we thought the game was going to be won was going to be in the midfield area. And I think we practically embarrassed their midfielders in the first 45 minutes of that game. We totally dominated the middle of the pack. And I want to big up Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, and the man who seems to be Captain Fantastic right now, Martin Odegaard, for the tremendous work they are doing in the middle of the pack. This guy seems practically unplayable in the first 45 minutes. We control the proceedings of that game. And the thing of joy for me right now as an Arsenal fan, I don't want to go a little bit faster than my shadow, say we win the league and all of that.
Nice.
I'm just excited that we have players who seem to be fighting for the badge they have on their chest of the JC they wear. That alone for me, it seems it's a very big thing, because we've seen in recent years, we've seen some players who seem to just be at the football club for the money, for the name, for playing for Arsenal and all of that. But we see players who seem to feel the pain we share as football fans. They seem to be people who want to achieve something with this team. And that keeps me excited every day for when the next Arsenal game is going to be. I don't know. That's the way I feel right now. After every Arsenal game, I'm excited, looking forward to the next one. But we know that in recent times, in some part of the season, we are not even looking forward to the next game. I think all of this good feeling, for me, it's something I want. I want to continue a lot more longer. I want to see us continue to develop on this project, continue to make progress on it, because for me, I still think the king right now still remain Manchester City until anybody else takes away the crown for them. They still hold the crown. To me, I still think they're the best, the team to beat, still the best team in the league until any other team takes away that title from them. But right now, I'm excited to be an Arsenal fan. I'm excited that we have players who are as excited as we are to play for this football club, who want to achieve something and who wants to fight for the badge they have in the chest of their jerseys.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think there is a belief in this team, and I think it is. I think these boys are trying to prove something. Just like Fuad said, every single one of these players now wants to make a name for themselves. They haven't got a name, but they're making a name for themselves. I mean, I know Zinchenko and Jesus have got, they've got the Man City vibe from before, but these other players are pretty much they're raw, and it's like, let's see if we can show off. Let me see if I can show the world what I can do. You know what I mean? To build up sort of their portfolio, make themselves the next best
thing. And if I can add something to what you're saying, Ossie, Jesus and Zinchenko achieved what they did. A lot of people have been calling them big part players at Manchester City. Them coming to Arsenal, they are trying to prove to other people who did not solely believe in what they did there, when they were not superstars in that team. They are trying to come in that, okay, we can do what we did at City at a different team, and we want to show that we could do so much more than 100%. Being just more than squad players.
A lot of, and the thing is, a lot of Arsenal's fan base, they talk like they talk with no knowledge. Some fan people, they don't realize that people will only sign them. Or some people are saying they're Man City rejects, bro. Zinchenko. Kyle Walker said he is the most technical player I've ever seen in Manchester City. Everyone talks about De Bruyne. They talk about. He says when he brings the ball down in training and he takes on players, he said there's no one does it like him. He said the way he got skills. And you see that yesterday. It's like, even though obviously he got caught once, I thought but when he brings the ball down, he slides into the middle. And when he's on the ball, bro, I have never, as a fan, felt so comfortable, because it's the way he does it. He always finds the pass, and I think the team are so comfortable playing around him. So I just think that they come to prove a point. They had Man City, it's like someone said to me yesterday. We were watching the game. Guardiola said, "Where's Zinchenko?" Oh, we sold him. That's what happened, bro. I don't think he knew nothing about the transfer. Oh yeah, whatever. They want to go, let him go. That's his philosophy, isn't it? He believes letting them go. Look, because where's Zinchenko? He's an Arsenal.
I think he's been an absolute godsend for Arsenal. I've always been worried about him defensively. I don't know if you guys agree. Defensively, a little bit shaky.
Me too. I worry about his defensive prowess also.
The truth. The thing is, all right, but everyone talks about his defensive thing. But mate, we got the second best. We got the best defense record in the league, and on top of all that, we're playing the best football with him in the team. We got the second best defense in record in the league, and with him in the team, we're playing the best football. You know,
No,
every
we
time
can't
he's in the
complain.
team,
You don't want to break.
can't complain.
Yeah.
When it's working, it's working. You know, we haven't won there for 9 years. That's telling you something.
True.
That as an Arsenal fan, that is
spot
telling
on.
you something.
Yeah, bloody oath, mate.
The last time we won there, Rosicky scored the goal, and Mikel Arteta was the captain of the captain of the club then.
Yeah, I remember it.
So, you know, 9 years. There's something right. There was something right. So I don't know, bro. There's no more you could ask for, and I think they'll continue. They're gonna get better. They're gonna get better. I think we're gonna get better.
I think Zinchenko has something to prove, but you know who else has got something to prove, and I think proved plenty in this game. Did you see like the rape that was happening with Bukayo Saka on that right hand side? Like there should be a law against that. Did you see Bukayo Saka just have his way in this game? Like no one could stop him.
Well, Bukayo Saka, I think he had a slow start to this season because I think everything was centralised towards, Martinelli's side alongside his mate Jesus, and people thought, maybe Saka needed a bit of to come out of the team because he's playing too much football. But the fact is that our manager rates him so highly, and you can see why. And it's not just our manager, Gareth Southgate as well. He's in a rich way of form. Ever since he, I don't know what the catalyst was. Was it the goal against Leeds or was it the Liverpool game? But from Liverpool on, Saka has been unbelievable. You can't all the things that concerns you had about as the goal output. Well, he's rectified that. In terms of like decision making, he's rectified that. His final ball, he's rectified that. The guy's a superb footballer. He's vital to where he plays. I put the three always must plays in our team are Partey, Odegaard, and Saka.
Yeah.
Obviously, Partey played who's a man after my own heart because I think he makes our team tick. Without him, it's over. Forget all this. He is the catalyst. He is the alpha and omega to how we play. He is the best midfielder in the country at the moment. The only midfielder that's close to him is Casemiro. And because both him and Casemiro make things easy. In fact, if you look at the game, we're playing this Sunday. Obviously we're going to get to that. It's going to be a tactical battle. The midfielders are both sides because they're both very good. But in terms of Saka, he's unplayable. He really is unplayable. It's even he gets kicked, he comes back, goes for the man again. Yeah. He's relentless. He's got, and the thing about it, he's got some endurance in him as well. And he scored, and he's got a goal threat. There's no doubt about that. Where, you look at the work that was done with Sterling, in order to turn him into a very and get him to have some kind of end product. The same sort of work he's doing with Bukayo Saka. I think he's been very lucky to have firstly Unai Emery give him his chance and basically said, right, boom, like I said, here you go, because he was the one who first recognised Saka's talent, and he was actually playing him on the left, and then he played him further forward. Because remember, he was a left back at first.
Yeah.
So he's evolved his game, and for now playing the sort of football on Arteta, I always say to Arteta, give the guy a break, man. Come on, man, he's playing his game. But what Arteta's telling me is that I need this guy. This guy is the only player I know who consistently scares defenders. I know a lot of people in this, debate or Arsenal fans are massive Martinelli fans.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the greatest respect for that. I really respect you guys for that because Martinelli is an exciting player. But this guy's levels above him in terms of how he consistently, when he gets the ball, puts trepidation into the opposition. I'm not saying Martinelli doesn't, but this guy does. That's why if we were going to ever get Mudryk, there was no way that guy was going to be a casualty, Saka.
Nah.
Not a chance of happening. Now, that's not a criticism of Martinelli, but you know what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Three players who fight for this team in Arteta's eyes, and in my eyes, it's Partey, but Arteta, every time Saka gets a knock, he's playing, boom, boom. Let's rest him. No, he plays him. He even plays him in games he shouldn't be playing him, like the Europa League and the Cup. That's how much he loves this guy and wants him to perform. So You know, we've got a potential player who, if he fulfills his potential, you know, as much as we fight against it, we just have to hope that, you know, that another big club doesn't come in to take him, or we become such a big club that we never lose him. Because this is a guy who can go on to score, if he wants, 150 to 200 career goals, if he wants.
I honestly couldn't agree with you more.
About 30 goals for England, if he wants. It's there for him if he wants.
He's young, up and coming, and you know what? He's developing his game. Game by game, Saka is getting better. In this game, he was immense. Like, you know that goal that Odegaard scored, right? You noticed that? I don't know if you guys noticed it. You know how I always watch the back line? The back line stretched out, and they decided to double down on Saka. They've already doubled down on Martinelli, and they started to hold on Nketiah. And the whole middle of the park is now open for friggin' Odegaard to take to take that shot. And these are the little things that some people don't see. It's dragging the defense towards you. You know what I mean? Like Henry used to do, Bergkamp used to do. They might not even be involved in the goal, but they pulled the defender towards them, and now they opened it up. And in that Odegaard goal, that opened up mainly because I think they just thought, we got to control Saka, because Saka was unplayable. I mean, Sessegnon, that first goal, you saw Sessegnon couldn't do nothing. I think that was in my opinion, that was a mistake to play Sessegnon against Saka. That was a disaster class from Conte. I don't know what you guys think. I think Perisic should have started instead of Sessegnon because he couldn't handle Saka.
Well, the thing with Conte is that Conte, you know, I've heard, when I got home, I heard some interesting points about Spurs' first half showing and Conte's tactics. The fact is that, you know, they're very passive. And I always said to a lot of Spurs fans, if you went in there 0-0 and came out and beat second half Tottenham, then we've had a problem. But you're taking an enormous risk against good sides when you become second half Spurs, because against good sides, there's no way back. They play Liverpool. Now, Liverpool are so inconsistent. Yeah. But in a lot of people's eyes, they still scare people. They got better players than Spurs still. They play second half Spurs. What happened? They got their asses. They got the horse whipped. Man United, they got horse whipped there, and us as well. You know, you play like that if by all means, but you'll miss out on the top four. Look, because against good teams, against your rivals for the top four, you're not gonna be able to get back. You're not playing teams like Bournemouth and dare say Leeds or any of these other sides, or Crystal Palace, who battered you in the first half, but because you got it 0-0, you came out and smashed them. You can't play that kind of football in football because it's going to bite you. You know, there's a silent 50% of Spurs fans who are fed up with this guy's tactics, but they daren't say it because of the fact that he got them the top four just recently, and the fact that they're still in the FA Cup and Champions League. They swear by him because it's Levy's fault, not his. He needs to take some culpability, Conte, but that's not Tottenham problem, not ours.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yeah, you know what though? I was saying to Steve about earlier. I was saying, like, you know, like, even though we beat Tottenham, I'm glad we got him out there, like out the way, because one thing about Tottenham they're good at is no one went to turn it on. They had the same season last year. Do you get me? And they just, you know, last year they were like this, and they just after that defeat, like to Man, who beat them? It was a team. I think it was Man United beat them. Like we beat them now in January. Man United beat them in January. They just boom switched on, and they just went on a mad run, and they beat us, and they got top four. So I'm glad we've got that fixing out the way, because I know, like, they play Man City on Tuesday. Now, you from me, don't be surprised if Tottenham turns them over.
1-1. I reckon they could draw.
Don't be surprised, because that's what they do.
Bogey team.
Yeah. They know how to. When they want to turn it on, they'll turn it on. So I'm glad we've got them out the way now, and we've got our 3 points. Bring on Man United. But what I was saying about the team yesterday, what I liked about the team yesterday is, well, what Steve was just saying is, when you see Saka was going out to the right and freeing up the midfield, and Nketiah was going to the right with him. So every time you had like 4 defenders just going one way. If you watch it slowly, when that goal built up, Nketiah could see what they're doing. He said, let me drive him with me. So you drive him with me. You got 2 defenders going with him and going with Saka. So you got 4. So even if Martin Odegaard didn't shoot. He would have found that crispy pass through to Martinelli. So, but for him to take the shot on as a captain and took that, I just thought yes, because it was just beautiful. When it went in, I could just see Kenny on the TV going mad. You know, you're on TV. I see you do Kenny. You know, I see you doing a backflip.
No. Look, you know, it was one of those things where the celebrations was something. You know, I always say to B, if you go to an Arsenal game, especially away from home, you don't want to be around me because this is murder. You're getting hugged to death, and you know we're talking bear hugs and everything, getting lifted up in the air. But that's just how it was. I had my flat cap on, and I thought I've been to games where the flat caps come off and go all over the place. So whenever we score, I take it off and then I hold it in my right hand, and just start celebrating like mad, because I think that's what we've been doing all season. You know, I think what it is that it's easy. Myself, Lee, and Jess, think, well, Arsenal should be doing this every season. But the fact is, because we haven't been doing it, it's still a shock to us that it's happening, even though we think it should be happening, and that Arsenal are not a top 4 club, and that we should always be challenged for the league. But it's still a shock, and I think that's the thing about you know, the whole season and the way we're playing. It's, I don't know. Sometimes you pinch yourself and you look at the top of the table and you're thinking, I'm not used to seeing this day. It was the same in 2007 and 2013, 2014, because I was so used to seeing anyone but Arsenal, so used to seeing obviously Man United, and I was used to seeing Chelsea up there, and I got used to seeing, you know, the odd time obviously Man City as well. Got so used to that. So when we were up there, I was thinking, this is what I've wanted, but I'm too scared to think it's going to last.
I know what you're saying. I know where you're coming from. I can see. I can relate to that. But do you know what I see though, Ken? Is the way they're playing? I think last year really hurt them not getting the Champions League. So they felt that horrible sorrow of defeat, and it affected them badly. And they thought, we don't want this feeling no more. That's why I think they'll continue this game by game, and they'll continue winning. And I think everyone says, oh, but you got to play Man City twice. But guess what? Man City got to come to the Emirates.
Yes.
And we got to
I think
go
that's
there.
a great mentality. That's a great mentality that they should be scared of us, because yes, and I got that mentality. Even though I'm too scared to share that with you.
No. You Kenny, I got your back, bro. I got your back. You just that's what I'm saying to people. I say to people all the time, they gotta come to the Emirates. Are they guaranteed 3 points the way we're playing?
No, I couldn't agree with you more there. It could split. For me, the team that worries me is more Man United. The way they're playing, their structure is different to Man City. Man City looks like a team we could take on, seriously. But you know what? To be perfectly honest, this season's going to be a long one. I know it's going to be a long one, but to be perched where we are now, I know none of us expected us to be where we are. But you know what? It's fucking great to be up there with the gap. Do you know what I mean? And the way the team is playing at the moment, we're ruthless. We don't stop. Against Newcastle, we were ruthless. Against Spurs, we're ruthless. Every game we get into, it's a do or die attitude. You know what I mean? And these boys, are just grinding out results when they have to, or destroying teams when they can. And I haven't seen this from an Arsenal team very often, to be honest. And in this game,
I think the turning point was the Liverpool game at home, because even though Liverpool were widely consistent, it was a case of the bounce back ability. Because there was quite a lot of that game when Liverpool were in complete control in midfield, and they were making inroads into our defence, but we kept going, you know, and we got we like I said, we went in front again, and then we finally broke the resolve by getting the third going in front for the third time. And I think that was when I thought, well, this is a big team we've played, even though they're not in great form. They've turned us over quite regularly, home and away. I was thinking, yes, something might be happening here. Something could be happening, you know.
It's a shift.
Because this is the week after the Tottenham game. And I was thinking, yeah, but let's just part this because it's only 9 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. You guys saw. I mean, we all know the threats that Tottenham have. You know what I mean? Harry Kane, you know, the man that always scores in a North London derby. Son.
Ooh.
Son. I didn't even know he was there. Kulusevski, who's been, you know, godsend for them. Absolutely abysmal. Honestly, like, I haven't seen that front three that awkward this season. I don't think they've ever played this poorly, and I don't know what to put it down to. Like, you guys tell me, why did these 3 players play so poorly? Was it because of our centre back pairing? Was it because of the way the midfield was playing? What was it? I'm stuck between. I'm thinking Gabriel and Saliba doing their bits, but is it a collective? Because these 3 players, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but they were non-existent. Son was an absolute joke. Honestly, I don't think he gave Ben White any trouble. He actually told off Perisic at one time. He actually tried to play the ball late to Perisic, and Perisic said, "You got to play me earlier." And they're having a bit of back and forth. Like, were we that good defensively, or were they just that bad? I think that's my question.
Well, for me, I want to give kudos to Mikel Arteta and also to the team, because I feel like a lot of people have talked about how young this team, the players in this team are, but I want to give them props right now because this team knows so well how to handle the pressure. We've seen that teams expect us to play from the back. They come with a press, but every time Spurs try to come with that press, we counter their press. And some of the teams have watched how Newcastle played us, and they might want to start doubling the wing, try to shook the wing out for us. Spurs tried to do that. They tried to double up on our wingers, and that gave us so much room, like you and Fuad pointed out, in the middle of the park. And Thomas Partey had a chance, almost scored a potential goal of the season contender with that strike. And that is something I have to pick up the players for, because when they try to block at one door, this team seemed to find out the key to open other doors. They tried to shock the wing. We had opportunities to take the shots in the middle of the park. And I just want to pick up how these young players, they understand the game. When teams try to come up with one tactics, they are bringing up ways and potential measures to cope with all of the press and all of the way teams try to set up against them. But I think a lot of this work, it's not just by mistake. It's been planned. It's been tried over times and the training ground, because we taking shots outside of the box. It's something I think like these players have been practicing and training. They have expected teams to want to block the wings. So, but when teams set up that way, what do we have to do next? We have to come up with other solutions. So I need to big up the coaching crew and what they're trying to do with this team, and also the team for their understanding of the game and how they handle pressure.
Yeah, they did. They played. They played quite different yesterday, didn't they? I found they played. It's like with Eddie and Ketia. I thought he was going to score. When he had his 2 chances, I was heartbroken. I thought this boy deserves a goal, man. But it's coming. It's coming.
He's you know what, Fred? He's got to keep going. He's getting.
It's coming. People, it's coming. It's coming.
And only to what everyone said in the panel about Spurs. I know, Steve, you say that, you know, Son, Kane, like I say, weren't great, and no, it's Kulusevski. That's good. But, you know, you've got to remember, you know, when we talk about how dominant we've played, one of the things we've got to, you know, like I said, stand out and congratulate is the fact that everyone, when they're called upon, did their bit for the team. And as much as Son and Kane were quiet, they still got. Kane had that chance. Aaron Ramsdale spread himself big with that, and he made it. So straight after we scored, Sessegnon made a great, you know, like I said, reverse pass. Song, you know, got in. Aaron Ramsdale saved us, and there was other chances in the second half where, you know, Kane had another shot, which, you know, another day he could have got his 2 goals to you know, go past Jimmy Greaves, because, you know, Aaron Ramsdale got in the way, and then obviously Ramsdale got in the way of a chance for Sessegnon as well. Yeah. So, you know, when sometimes you exaggerate when you say, well, yeah, everyone contributed, but everyone did contribute. Everyone did. You know, you think about, you know, passages of play, and you think, yeah, Zinchenko did really well there, and Ketia got in and he stretched the defence. Xhaka put that great assist for Nketiah when he's missed his chance. Saka, has contributed to the first goal. Saka did that layoff for Odegaard. Odegaard scored a worldie. Partey, had that volley at the post, but Partey controlled the game. And you think about Benjamin White as well, his contribution. You think there wasn't a player that you would have thought, you know what, even though we won, we kind of carried them. And that's the thing that was really impressed about the performance. Everyone had a say in that game. All 11 players had a say. And that's all and that's what you want. And I think that's collective, because as much as Son and Kane weren't great, they still had clear-cut chances.
Mm-hmm.
And if they put those clear-cut chances away, no one's going to know. You know what it's like? People who don't analyse football properly because they don't know anything about the game, because they're so excited and they love that player so much, they just think, all right, he scored a couple of goals, yeah, he had a great game, but he stood around doing nothing. And I think that's the thing, as much as Kane and Son weren't in the game, they could have made a difference had it not been for Aaron.
You're saying as a collective, eh? You're saying the team as a collective, as a complete unit, kind of played them out of the game.
Well, everyone contributed, you know what I mean? You think about it, the times when they did get over, you think about Spurs. After the last minute of the first half, they got in behind us. The first 15 minutes where they're second half Tottenham at their best, judging by their demeanour after the first 15 minutes of the second half, they clearly were banking on scoring early in order to give them that lift to do a grand slam finish, to even get do a grand slam finish, to try and nick a point and maybe get a couple more goals. But the fact is that by not taking those chances in the first 15 minutes, that's when we exercised more control. And that's when the heads went, we're not beating this side. And I think that's really important during that period where Son, Kane and Kulusevski were prevalent. Ramsdale came, showed them what a top goalkeeper he's going to become.
Well, Lloris can probably take a lesson from Ramsdale, because to be perfectly honest, that's what you should be doing.
I don't recognise him because he's a goalkeeper that I've had a lot of respect for. But even I don't know what it was. I mean, even in the World Cup, remember the World Cup final 4 years ago when he did that? He got pressed but that didn't matter because they still won.
Yeah.
But even there was times in the World Cup he was getting in trouble, and then normally he's very good at penalties, but since they had that sort of rule where you can't move before the ball's kicked, he didn't get to any of the penalties for Argentina. So Lloris has been under a lot of pressure. There was a game, was it New Year's Day against Aston Villa, when he was again at his kind of butterfingery sort of thing. So there is decline. If anyone, if Everton, God forbid Everton get relegated, Jordan Pickford's got a buy there to go to Tottenham, because they do someone like Jordan Pickford to replace Lloris, because he's 37 this year, isn't he? He's 37 this year, so it could be the time to get rid.
It's a good shout, because to be honest, I think Lloris. Like I call Hugo Lloris Hugo Weaving. This guy's a fucking joke. I mean, honestly, he's an absolute fucking joke. But I love him. What I want from Tottenham is just much more of the same. I want him to keep Lloris. I want Conte to stay for 3 years. I want Levy to stay there. I want them to keep on competing with Arsenal, right? In regards to when it comes to judging their season, it's like, well, yes, we're not going to win anything, but if we beat Arsenal, it's a success. I want them to continue in that manner, because if they keep doing that, they're never going to get anywhere. And I can sit there and keep laughing from a distance, literal massive distance. So, fucking Conte, for me, Conte in this game, I think it was an Arteta masterclass in this one, because I think he's figured Conte out. Conte didn't change anything. I was expecting, he threw Richarlison and he didn't change nothing in the dynamic of the team. He just threw players in. He didn't change the tactics. He didn't change anything, and so it was much of the fucking same. And I'm looking at Conte, that all these Spurs fans that keep saying he's a world-class manager. Yes, maybe once upon a time. But I believe his time is well and truly past. Because to be perfectly honest, when you're going down and you don't have a plan B, and you're supposed to be a world class manager, and all you're doing is like for like changes. Come on.
You know what I think he is? He is a world class manager, but the fact is that it's against the personnel. Because you say he's on his way down, and there could be a point. Let's not forget he got his gig at Tottenham on the back of winning the title of Internationale, and it's only because they wanted to give him the money he left. And I think with Conte, his problem is it's a 3-year deal, not because of the fact that he hasn't got any loyalty, which doesn't have much anyway. He expects the same sort of commitment from the players he has and from the board in order to provide the funds. If that commitment isn't materialised after the second or third year, that's when you have problems with Conte. And I think I think at Tottenham, you look at what he did at Chelsea. He had players he could convert into doing things really well. Victor Moses, he turned up into one of the best right wing backs for that season in the country. Then he had Aspilicueta, as left wing back, just basically defending, and it worked for him. And I think at Spurs, he hasn't evolved his tactics. He hasn't changed what he's done, because that's how he used to play Inter and Chelsea.
Exactly.
Only that he needs to be more proactive. He needs to go out to the and say, look, this is the play I want to do. Don't be lazy. Be part of that transfer committee and say, look, don't rely on Paratici to get you all the players. How about you identify a player, get your fat ass, identify the players you want, and say, I want to play this way, and then do that. That way, you don't have to try and change players who can't play that way.
Exactly.
That's more the thing with Conte. Get off his backside. I don't care. Good luck. I hope Spurs suffer like that. But from outside looking in, get off your backside. And if you're not happy, leave. And as for Daniel Levy, if Spurs ever want to compete and be a big club, because they're a big club in terms of what they've done previously in the 60s and the 70s with a cup side, but if they actually want to be a big club practically, then get that guy to sell their shares. Get him to sell the shares. Get rid of him and get someone with the same mentality to challenge us. Because right now, you can fish above us as much as you like, but the fact is you're as far away from success as you are, and it's going to be 15 years without a trophy. And it could be 60, it could be 20. A big club like Tottenham serves you right if that's how you're going to keep this guy.
The new stadium they've gotten, it's going to be their tomb. I honestly believe it's going to be their tomb. Yeah. Because to be perfectly honest, these guys have gone and built a massive stadium before they had any success. Arsenal did this, right? And they're following, and they are literally copying bit for bit Arsenal. We did it off the back of success. You know what I mean? So success, invincible. Yeah. Let's go get a new stadium. These guys have done nothing, knowing they're going to do nothing, and then Levy goes, "Well, how are we going to make some money? Let's just sell more tickets and hopefully make it a venue." Right now, it's looking like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is more of a venue than it is a football field. There's more mentions of it in the boxing world.
A lot of clubs are like who want stadiums and all that. I know it brings in a big venue, but it's a big ask. Like it look like even like all of us as Arsenal fans. Look how long it took we got. To pay off, to get where we are, to find the right manager, to find the right unit to unite the team, to bring. It's craziness. It's quite hard.
But Fred, it's the only way. Unfortunately, it's the only way these clubs feel that they're going to be able to compete with the big boys is by having big stadiums and having, getting the extra revenue. And then what will happen is the venue, because I think what's happened is that a lot of the football clubs we grew up with were built in the sort of like 19th century.
Yeah. And
then what's happened is that you go to some of them and they could do a lick of paint, and they haven't evolved, and they're not able to provide with these facilities. So what's going to happen is that in order for these clubs to make the money, Arsenal, let's face it, the only reason why Arsenal left Highbury is because we wanted to compete with Man United, because of Old Trafford was this massive stadium where, their turnover was dwarfed us. We're on 38,000. They're on about 70-odd thousand. And they were able to extend Old Trafford. because they're in an industrial area where there's no kind of how to say it, like
A residential property.
residential housing, residential properties, and I think the same with clubs that are going to have to do it. In terms of Tottenham, blatantly, they've done it because simple reason is that they wanted to provide a manager with monies. But you're right, Fuad, they haven't got the history. But unfortunately, look at Everton. Everton are going to have to leave Goodison Park because of the fact that they can't compete financially, even though they've got billionaires there. That is probably the future now. Let's not forget Roker Park, Stadium of Light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Newcastle, Ayers Park, the Cellnet Stadium. So, it's one of those things where Middlesbrough, Elton Park, Swansea had to leave the Fetch Field. I think it's with every club now, he's going to have a situation where they're going to have to leave their 19th century stadiums in order to not only just bring in the new fans, but also provide his venues so they can bring in money.
Yeah, I think what, that's a good point. It's a valid point. I mean, we saw it with West End, Upton Park. To be honest, look, they've had to make these moves, but I would have thought as a big club, you would want to do it after some success, so at least the fans have had their fill. You know what I mean? They've seen some success, so that means if they have a bit of a drought, because you kind of have to hold on to the money, they can sort of hold on to it and say, what, that's fair enough. We've seen some success, but this team hasn't seen anything. This team has seen trophies, but they've only ever been lifted by our boys. Guys,
do you know?
Yeah.
Of course.
No.
I was saying to you, like the Emirates is like an empire. It's massive, and for us to bring home the title for the first time ever in Emirates, it'll be ideal. It'll just be amazing, and you know what? I know Kenny and Steve. I don't know. I haven't answered it, but like you guys ain't talking title, but see me. Like, what did Michael Jackson tell you in the 70s? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
No.
Can you
No, you can't.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Sorry. No. Stop it.
We'll feel it after 30 games. 30 games? 30 games. Let 30 games pass. 30, 33 games?
I'm going to the parade. I'm telling you now. I'm not book my... I'm going to the parade. Kenny, it's happening. I told you you're walking home happy. You're going to be, at the end of the season, forget happy, you're going to be doing 3 backflips.
Look. We're still in the FA Cup. I know it's highly likely that Man City will probably get their full team out, and then if both teams play their second teams, we might have to just sort of escape that. But we're still in the Europa League. I think that whatever happens this season, the way this team has played, they deserve some sort of recognition. And the only recognition they deserve is silverware. Hopefully it's a silverware that we all want. But, all I've ever wanted from this team was a challenge for the title. And I'm getting what I want. And I'm pleased. But I want the mentality to be like this from now on. It's not going to be easy. But I'm sorry. But if you want to call yourself a big club, and look down the nose at Tottenham, I don't want to be looking at my nose at Tottenham and other clubs when my club is winning the title, challenging the Champions League, preferably winning it. That's when I can look down and I'm thinking, boom, boom, because I think it's about time Arsenal show they're a big club and killed the debate. I mean, you've got people saying that other clubs like Chelsea and Man City are bigger than us, and until we start winning big trophies, we need to prove it. We can't just be a history channel. Let's prove we're a big club by winning these big trophies season after season.
I think the tide's shifted now. It's starting to shift. I think we are seeing a team with a desire and passion, and I gave a little bit of credit to Mikel Arteta on the spade of spade, because I thought, I'm not judging his whole season. I'm judging him this season so far. That the manager does deserve a little bit of respect and maybe a little bit of credit for the performances that this team are putting together. And don't forget, that was his blank canvas. This is his painting, and these guys are playing his football. It might be Pep football, but I really couldn't care less. And I think the way Arteta is as a manager, and it was as a player, it's all about devotion. It's about leaving it all out on the pitch. And you saw it in that silly documentary where he's screaming and yelling at the players. You can see he's no nonsense. And I think that no nonsense attitude has kind of gotten into these players where they're going out there, and players like Zinchenko, I mean, you can see how much this game meant to him. Zinchenko, this game for him was massive, and he's only just come to the club. And I think every single player that's out there at the moment is, I don't know, sort of galvanized in that manner. Guys, before I finish up, I want to do a quick player rating. Right? I'm gonna start from Aaron Ramsdale. I want to throw it out there, guys. What would you rate Aaron Ramsdale's performance out of 10 from this game?
10.
Akpos, what are you saying?
I would say it's a 9 because I think Aaron Ramsdale was one of the best players out there. So a 9 for me. He made a couple of vital saves that kept the game at 2-0. So I'm definitely going to give him a 9.
Ken, what's your thoughts? Your boy, Aaron.
I'm going to give him an 8. I'm not as generous as you as Akpos and Fuad. That is generosity. I take it. I don't want to be presumptuous. You are probably going to give every Arsenal player a 10, aren't you?
Yo, hey man, knows me already, man.
He's gonna do it. I'm agreeing with Akpos with a 9, right? And Fuad, I'm not even gonna start with Fuad this time. Ben White, in my opinion, in this game was probably a solid 7 out of 10. I didn't see anything too wrong from him. I think he had a solid performance. My opinion was 7 for Ben White. Fuad's gonna say 10. Am I right? He was.
I'll be fair. I'll give Ben White a 9.
Jesus. Okay. Akpos, is that fair? Is 9 too much? Am I being harsh for 7?
No. 7 is okay, but I would want to say it's a 7.5 for me. I think Ben White did very well, so a 7.5 for me.
Ken, what's your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think 7. He had some control, and he said he has his moments in this game, but 7's about right for Benjamin White.
I had Saliba up next, right? I'm gonna have Saliba up next, and I think Saliba in this game was a solid player, was a solid presence centre back. Honestly, I think Saliba, for me, my opinion, I say 8 out of 10 for Saliba. What would you say, Fuad? I know you're gonna say 10.
10.
Oh, fucking hell. Because he's the Rolls Royce, right? Because he's the Rolls Royce. He's the Rolls Royce, so he's a 10. Okay.
First off, Saliba, first off in the derby away, kept a clean sheet, kept Kane quiet, 10 out of 10.
Comment down below, guys. Akpos, what do you say?
8.5 for William Saliba because like Fuad said, it was very, very, very I need these guys are very, very young players. I don't think they've played at this level for a long time, and to watch them do it with so much composure, I think it gives me so much excitement on what to expect from this team in, let's say, a year or 2 from now, because I think all I can say is them building on the foundation they already have now, and it's going to get so much better when you have players who I don't think they are at the peak yet, playing at this level with this composure. Man, I'm excited as an Arsenal fan right now with what I expect from this team in a couple of years from now, if we can keep the group together. So William Saliba, a strong 8.5 for me.
Would you agree, Kenny Ken? 8.5 or 8 or 9 or 10 maybe? Maybe he's a 10. Maybe Kenny Ken's going to throw out a 10.
It was a solid performance from William, but I'm going to go 7.5.
That's fair.
You'll find that afterwards when you ask me about Gabriel.
Well, that's where I'm going to go now, and I'm going to go straight to Gabriel. And I'm thinking Gabriel was actually better than Saliba in this game, in my opinion. And I honestly think Gabriel's probably 8.5. I'm going to go to Kenny Ken first. Kenny Ken, what do you think of Gabriel?
I was going to give Gabriel 8.5, and I'm going to sort of add it, short add on to it to say that quietly, and I think there's a silent 60% of Arsenal fans who are saying that since Leeds game, when Gabriel's probably been our better defender since starting from the Leeds game onwards, he's been our better defender of the two. Whilst Saliba started like an express train, Gabriel has been playing amazingly well for us.
Yeah.
And he's cut out the Willie Young moments in his game, because there were some Willie Young moments previous to that where there was a bit of a bozo gene, but you know,
Mustafi moment.
he really has taken some leadership. But again, I'm one of those probably silent 60% who are saying it, who probably don't want to say it aloud, but you know, just the performances don't lie for me.
I look, me and you are seeing eye to eye in Gabriel. Akpos, what are you saying?
Well, for me, I want to start with this is disappointment of not going to the World Cup with the Brazil team. You know, when things like that happen to people and players, it's very evident to watch how they react. Some players, I'm going to sit down and sulk about it, but this is a player who's always responding to not being called up for the Brazil national team to the World Cup. And I think now, for whichever manager that comes into the Brazil national team, you have to be knocking. Gabriel is currently knocking on your door with this performance that is dishing out right now, because I think with what's playing right now, I think he should be getting into the Brazil team, because he didn't make it to the World Cup. I think he spent this time getting ready for when the team will be back on. And since we resumed from the World Cup break, we could see that his performance has gone up, and I want to give him credit for that. So it's going to be an 8.5 for me.
Fuad, tell me what you reckon. Don't you dare.
I'm going to give him a solid 9. And the reason is why, because I'm glad he didn't go to Brazil, because he had a month off, and this is what I'm making him perform. He had a little vacation, and he went sat back, relaxed his head, and thought, I need to do this for Arsenal now. I can't be doing them silly mistakes, kicking the penalty box, trying to rugby tackle players down. So he reminisced, and he thinks, so I'll give him a solid 9, because he was absolutely amazing yesterday.
I think so. I thought 8.5, but you know what? I won't disagree with you too much. Zinchenko in this game was caught out. He did get caught out 2 times defensively. Going forward, on the other hand, it was a different story. At one stage, he was a right back. I don't know if you guys saw that. He was on the wrong side of the pitch. He ended up there. What the fuck?
He was everywhere.
I was like, where the hell's my left back? Oh, no. I think Zinchenko in this game didn't put too much wrong, but I think I'd have to match a 7.5 for Zinchenko in this game. I wouldn't go beyond 7.5. That's me, but I know I might be a bit critical, but I'm thinking 7.5 for Zinchenko. Fuad, what are you saying?
No, I want to give Zinchenko a 12 because he gave away the ball and he gave away and he tried something stupid. It takes 2, so I'm going to give him a solid 10. 10 out of 10, mate. Zinchenko's my best player, bro. I fucking loves him. I can't disrespect Zinchenko. 10 out of 10.
Akpos, what are you saying, bro?
Like you pointed out, you know, we talked about Zinchenko and the preference if we would want to see Tierney start ahead of him with the threats that Tottenham Hotspur carry on the wing. But I think he had a good performance. He had the moments where he was caught out, but I think it was a good performance for him. So I would want to give him a 7.5, just like I did with Ben White.
Would you agree, Kenny Ken, about 7.5?
I'll give him a 7 because they were he wasn't bad defensively, because in terms of he was actually winning headers, you know, when that was, you know, playing diagonal balls from Kane and from Højbjerg and Maurice. He was actually winning headers over Doherty. So in that respect, from a defensive point of view, he was strong in that area. Obviously, he does his walkabout where he leaves space in the whole right hand side for teams to exploit. But the thing about that is that he does it because simple reason is that's how the club wanted him to play. They wanted him to play in that situation, and I understand what Akpos is saying. I'm a massive Kieran Tierney fan. I really am a massive Kieran Tierney fan. But the fact is that I get why, and I actually kind of agree why Zinchenko's playing on side, because of the way Arteta wants to play. From a traditional sense, I prefer Tierney, but I do fear for the more everyone in this panel is praising Zinchenko, the more it's become evidence how vital is his team. I fear for Tierney's future at this football club, and I can see a situation where he will be sold in order for us to, i.e., recruit some of the money and get our wages down, and maybe satisfy FFP. I worry about him having a future at this club because a player of that capability shouldn't accept being second choice at this football club.
Look, I could agree with you there, but you know what? At the same time, Kieran Tierney is injury prone. And me and Fuad were talking about this, and a player like this, it's difficult. For him, this could be a good thing. A little bit of on-off football, just in case he gets injured, because he was very...
But you know what? The reason why I sort of started Kane, I don't think it's to do with his injuries. I think initially when we brought him was to do with his injuries, but I think it's now from a tactical thing.
That's true. That's true.
How we're playing, and I think that outweighs what the club think of him, and say because of injuries, you could go by that. But if you see what Zinchenko is giving us, and you see that a lot of the modern managers now, Pep,
wingbacks,
are Pep and Ten Hag as well.
Klopp.
They're getting especially the left backs and right backs, into a situation where they have to not only just affect the like I said, the game from the wings. They've got to be able to play and put excellent passes into the midfield. I think it's not really a necessity if you don't be actually good defenders on sort of as a left back or right back. What they need them is they have to dominate possession. They have to win the ball back quickly, and then they have to be able to provide that tactical kind of attacking sort of motive in where they can actually pass the ball accurately and set up attacks. There's no accident that we're both into for Lissandro.
Yeah.
Martinez. We know he's a certain half, but we know he could play in the midfield and start attacks and do accurate passes. And to the extent that they've even got Luke Shaw playing in the
centre back.
To actually is centre back in order to learn from Martinez and play that way. So it's one of those things where, from a tactical point of view, I think it's bigger than the injuries.
No, I
think
because
of the way these three managers are playing.
I think the reason why Tierney would be a tough sell is because of the injuries. My point was that he might not go because he has been injury prone. I completely agree that Zinchenko's in that starting line because of the style we play. That's 100%. I agree with that. I just think Tierney, being the player that he is, a great defender, because he had that run on injuries after injuries, most clubs are going to be wary about it. Do you know what I mean? And that might, even for Tierney, in his head go, well, should I stay at Arsenal for a little bit longer to see how I hold up before I decide to ask for a transfer? And I think, to be honest, I'm happy to be in this situation and have the problem that I have with Tierney on the left and or Zinchenko. I'm supporting Arsenal Football Club. I couldn't care. I hate to say this, but I couldn't care less about the player. I care about the club. And if it means that, it sounds horrible, but if it means that Tierney's career gets a bit 50-50 for Arsenal success, in my eyes, so fucking be it.
That's the problem with fans.
It's horrible, but I'm greedy.
I think Kenny was saying it to me before when we had a chat before. He was telling me the problem with fans, they get too attached to these players.
Yeah.
These players. Yeah, I remember you were telling me before, and Kenny was telling me, like the player, but don't get attached to him, because it's like once he's gone, he's gone. That's it. But so like the player, but don't get too attached to him. Like obviously, Kieran Tierney is a good player, but I think if he goes and Zinchenko stays and they bring in a replacement, and Arsenal win the title, I don't think many fans would be like moaning about it.
No,
I think fans need to just say they're just footballers and they play for your club, but don't get too attached, because there's what the Kenny always is telling you, there's no loyalty when it comes to these players.
No.
It's the truth. It's not at all. There's no loyalty. We can have all good times now, but if someone comes knocking the door like Real Madrid and we'll give you this, we'll give you that, you see what happened with Beckham. It's fucking icon. Real Madrid come knocking the door. What happens? See you later. Yeah. So don't get attached to players.
That's the best thing for it. Players are players. They're going to be here for as long as they're going to be here. Their accolades, their success is theirs. We want to win. We got our midfield pairing of Granit Xhaka and Partey. I'm going to do these two guys together. My mind, Granit Xhaka didn't put a foot wrong. Now he did put that fucking exquisite pass into Nketiah. I mean, it didn't get much better than that. It was on a play, but he didn't put a foot wrong. But I believe between these two midfielders, Partey was the better. I think Granit Xhaka in my eyes was a 7.5, but I think Partey in this game was at least a 9. That's me, but what would you reckon, Fuad? Xhaka and Partey.
I'll give Shaka a solid 9 and Partey a solid 10.
Jesus Christ. Fair enough. Akpos, do you agree? Because I feel like I'm a prick.
Well, for me, I think Fuad is a little
You
bit.
are!
Fuad is a little bit more generous with the ratings, though. But I understand what was trying to say, because these guys that they are making it look very easy. Because for me, I think Thomas Partey, just like the crankshaft, is the backbone of an internal combustion engine. Thomas Partey is the backbone of this Arsenal team. If, like Kenny said, if he goes out of this team, I worry for us. I worry for us, because it makes it look very easy when teams try to compress at us. So Thomas Partey, for me, it's going to be let me be a little bit more generous. Thomas Partey is going to be a 9 for me. Granit Xhaka. This is a player. The Granit Xhaka story for me, I think it's a very big twist from how a lot of us, personally, I was among the Arsenal fans who wanted him out of the door because of all of the things that happened during that period. But how so quick football can change sometimes, and this is a player who seems had one leg out of the door and now seems to be an integral part of this Arsenal team. So Granit Xhaka for me, another commanding performance, another performance where he showed his leadership quality also in this team as one of the most experienced players, one of the most senior players. So a very good performance for me for Granit Xhaka, and I would say an 8.5 for me.
Oh, what do you reckon, Kenny Ken? Partey and Xhaka, what would you rate them?
Well, the thing about it is that Thomas Partey, there's any time I kind of agree with Fuad about getting on the 10. But the only reason why he's not getting a 10, because there was an instance in the game where he did give away the ball. So I'm
Yeah,
not
and another one you're
giving
talking
away
about.
possession. And so when you give away possession, you don't. I'm not down, so I'm going to give him a 9, and I'm going to give Xhaka a 7.5, because I think that, again, Thomas Partey just mate. I think with Thomas Partey, I don't think people realise how good he is, to the extent that there's actually more in his locker.
Yeah,
he is for me. He is to me what N'Golo Kante was all those years ago, but not in a sort of way that you kind of notice, because N'Golo Kante, I call him free lungs. You want to play, if you want to play an attacking midfielder, he'll do that. If you want to play hold, he'll do that. If you want to sort of like be the hub, he'll do that. Thomas Partey is capable of doing that. Thomas Partey is capable of doing that. And I don't think people appreciate how good he is and how vital he is to him. I think the people appreciate him more are his teammates. I mean, last season there was a lot of people were saying that Xhaka is the team and then Xhaka masterclass. That is highly inaccurate this season. It maybe might be relevant to them, although I didn't agree with it, because even then I was still saying Thomas Partey is the man. But right now, there's no dispute. I've spoken to quite a few people at the football club, not at the football club, I mean the fans, because they're the people I know at the football club. And we were having debates before we went to the match. Not one person disagrees with my notion that Thomas Partey is a team. And one guy, even before we were in the toilet, said that Thomas Partey is the best player in the league. That's why I copied him. His words, say Thomas Partey is the best player in the league. I just said he was vital for the team. I'd have been happy for that. For him to say Thomas Partey is the best player in the league, I'm taking that with both hands and copying it.
I think he's one of the best. And honestly, it would be out of Casemiro and him. It would literally be out of him. And a bit, but at the moment, because Casemiro's just shown up, and Partey's been in the Premier League.
I can't wait for that battle.
That's going to be great, eh?
Battle this I can't wait. I'm like a little kid, man. Can you imagine it?
This is a mid-90s clash. Remember mid-90s?
You're probably going to have a preview, but I'll leave you with this with regarding Casemiro. Casemiro is everything McTominay wasn't, isn't, and probably never will be. And that's why Man United are looking a good side again.
Fucking oath. Casemiro's quality, eh? It took him a while to get into the squad, but now that he's in, he's not getting out. Guys, for me, the captain, I'm going to go finish off the midfield and say Martin Odegaard. For me, man of the match. I know there's other players, but I think for me, Martin Odegaard led from the front, and I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 for this performance. I think his link-up play was great. His presence, his leadership was great. His goal was even better. The way he was able to get into pockets, get into certain pockets in between Spurs defense, he was an absolute pest. And whenever a teammate wanted to give up the ball, Martin Odegaard was there to make sure he could release it and he could play it on. That's my opinion. Martin Odegaard, a 10 out of 10, a man of the match. Fuad, what are you going to say? You can't tell me you don't agree with 10.
I'm going to give him 10 out of 10 because he scored. And what I liked what he did in the second half when we come out, he gathered the players.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that about him. And even and Ramsey will come running over too. And you can see he's giving it to him. Like, listen, focus, blah, 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 blah. And then he was telling him what to do. And the thing is, he doesn't scream at him. But when he was playing, like I can see him in the middle, he was like pointing too. You can see him like, oh, get there, you get there, you get there. And every time they come at us, they won't do nothing. So for that reason, you already know what I'm going to give him. So there's no point saying I've given him a 10 already in it. So it's not 10 out of 10.
Akpos, do you agree? Or are you going to be a bit stingy? You're going to
definitely, I have to agree with Fuad for this one, and also with yourself. I think Martin Odegaard, for me, what a player right now, what a guy, and what a captain. Because one thing he was criticized for last season, I don't know if you guys remember this, a lot of people were saying that he's not able to replicate his performances at the Emirates when we go away, when we go to the away ground. And for him to show up at the almost Tottenham hotspur for a performance like that, we have to pick him up. Because when he was made the captain, we know that a good number of the section of the fans were skeptical about a player that young getting the captaincy. For somebody who they felt like he was not experienced enough. But this guy seems to be growing gradually into the role, and he seems to be getting better at being a leader on the team, with the team. And he seems to be showing up when we need him this season, getting into those decisive positions, getting the goals, getting the assists for me. And I'm also excited to see how so well he continues to develop. Because for me, I think right now, Real Madrid should be biting their fingers and asking themselves, why did we let him go for so little? Because I think looking at the transfer fee now and looking at what today's market is and what some players are going for right now, I think we have a massive player on our hands right now. And I just want to continue to be excited about this team and looking forward to greater things and better things from this team and better performance from my captain Martin Odegaard.
No, I couldn't agree more. What do you reckon, Kenny Ken? What would you rate him?
Well, I don't give 10 out of 10 to any performance. You'll have to not give the ball away. Make great interceptions, score through assists, and get a hat trick. He only scored one goal, so he's getting a 9. But no, seriously, I'll give him a 9 for his performance. But
2 key passes, 43 passes the whole game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, in terms of what Akpos says, I totally agree with what he says as well about up Martin Odegaard. But I had more to it. I think what certain Martin Odegaard is that he went to Real Madrid at 15. He's had to learn. 15. He has to learn about being a man, and learn his trade. And I think even though he didn't, even though there's players in front of him, because come on, was he going to break up Cruz and Modric?
Modric, no way.
No. I think probably what has happened is Modric is because Modric and the Cruz went on way too long. He couldn't break that midfield partnership. But what he's done is that he's gone to other clubs. He's learnt his trade, and he's now, because he's learnt his trade on loan, and he learnt a bit of his trade when he was coming on loan to us. He's now, got that experience where he can, play his best football to the extent that he's now, even though he's only 22, 23, he's got that kind of seasoned pro look at him because of the experiences he's had in terms of going on loans. And that's when the loan system does work, when clubs actually do play these players and give them the experience and make them a member of those teams that they can come back and they can come back and show their full repertoire when they come to a settled club. And you've got to respect him, because
Yeah.
I have my reservations. And the reason why I have my reservations is nothing he did. He didn't do nothing wrong. It's that I admire as an hour. But right now, he's proved me wrong.
Oh,
I'm
he's
good on the
proved us
lad,
all.
because good on, because the reason why I'm glad he proved me wrong is not because of the fact that of how he's playing. It's the fact that he's learnt from those experiences, from going out alone, and and not being able to break Modric and Kroos, and he's become a tougher, more rounded individual when he's played for us.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think every one of us here, when we've criticised a player and we thought someone wasn't right, we're always happy to be wrong, because that means a great thing for Arsenal Football Club. And that's just, I think everybody here would agree with that. Guys, we've got the front three. I'm going to start with Martinelli, and I'm going to say Martinelli in this game, I think he was marked out of the game. I think Martinelli had a hard time in this game, and I think it wasn't that he did anything wrong. I think that they just shifted to the left, which allowed Saka a little bit more freedom on the right. But I couldn't give Martinelli better than a 7 out of 10 in this game, and that's me being a bit generous. I couldn't give him better than 7. What would you say, Kenny Ken?
Martinelli misses Jesus.
Yeah, big time. That link-up play between them two.
Martinelli misses Jesus. He misses Jesus because if you look at Jesus' best football, Jesus just tends to play in the centre forward, stroke, inverted left forward position, where him and Martinelli overlap each other in terms of one goes in the middle. If one goes in the middle, one's out on the left. And I think what's happening is an understanding, and there's no doubt in my mind that Martinelli was playing his best football when he had his Brazilian mate alongside him. Now, that's not a criticism of my guy, Eddie Nketiah. It's just a fact. It's a fact that, Eddie Nketiah is a different player. He will try and chase down defender. He will put his foot in order for the team. But he is a box-to-box striker.
Yeah.
He's not going to run in those positions. He's not going to make space for Martinelli. Martinelli's, in essence, is there to survive, to provide chances for Eddie and serve him, on a plate. Martinelli hasn't developed fully as a footballer for that. So he's instinctive, he's off the cuff, which is tautology anyway, because instinctive, off the cuff's the same word.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's easy at the moment to be marked at the game, and that's why, that ball by Odegaard against Brighton was probably brilliant for him, because,
just broke.
Broke the thing, but he does miss his mate, and that's why I agree with everything you're saying about him being marked at the game. So I'll give him a 6.5.
6.5. Akpos.
I would go with you, Aussie, on a 7, and I agree with everything that Kenny has said about Gabriel Martinelli, because I think it does misses Gabriel Jesus, because that switching in position that Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli do, they do it so well. And like Kenny rightly said, Eddie Nketiah is a different kind of striker. It brings something different to the plate when he's in the team. So, but I think like that understanding with Gabriel Martinelli is one that I think like as they continue to play together, we would see more of that understanding and that partnership beginning to grow more. So, but for me, Gabriel Martinelli did not have the best of game, but we can't take away his efforts, his work rate, and tenacity in this game. So, I think a 7 is okay for Martinelli.
That's fair enough. And the king of number 10?
Now, Martinelli, actually, he played all right. He never played the best, but he did have a good game, and he was back out of the game a bit. So I'm going to give him, do you know what? I'm going to go with Kenny, 6.5.
Oh, I can't believe it. I was saying you're going to go for a 9. There you go. He's getting serious. He's getting serious.
No, I agree with Kenny. He wasn't himself, and I just thought he was a bit marked out the game, and that's why I think he got taken off a little bit for Tini. So he said, you know what, they're marking you up. Yeah. Well, let's just put Tini on and just
finish off
in the back.
Yeah. Kill the game off, yeah.
You get me, yeah. And it made sense. It made sense. Didn't need him for the last 20 minutes, half an hour. It
was pointless.
So, yeah.
I'm going to go right to the other side. Let's get to the star boy. Bukayo Saka in this game, I say 9 out of 10. All his performances, For him cutting up players, I'd say actually no, 9.5. 9.5. I'm not going to give him 10. I'm going to give him 9.5. Kenny Ken, what do you reckon? You're going to say 9.
I am going to say 9, but that's not because I'm marking Dan. But I marked Partey down for, you know, like I said, giving away, getting caught in possession, and I did. But he is unplayable. He really is unplayable. You know, there's 3 people. You 3 people are going to, if Arsenal win the league, and I'm going to say it's a big if because I don't want to tempt fate. He's one of the players that you don't want to get injured. You don't want Partey to get injured. You don't want Odegaard to get injured. He's one of those players, if you keep him fit, all costs. And unfortunately, Arteta seems to believe that the best way to keep him fit is by playing him regularly. So,
I don't know. It's working.
Yeah, he's going to be vital next week against Man United. This Sunday against Man United. I'm assuming, rightly or wrongly, that he will be playing against Man City in the FA Cup, a game where, you know, I think if we do go strong, the only player who's not going to be playing is Aaron Ramsey. I think Turner will play in goal, or Hein, or one of those players. But you know, by Saka is Arteta's. I think Arteta, you know, like I said, probably has Bukayo Saka around to stay at his house with him and his wife and the family, just to make sure that he's not going out with his mates doing anything silly, because he loves this guy. I could tell you, just the fact he plays him. So every time during matches when he's doing his sort of touchline coaching, he has a go at all the players, but one of the players he leaves alone is Saka. And he's always going up to him and hugging him. Oh, well done. So go on,
my star boy.
And I mean, it shouts a lot. It shouts a lot that, you know, the fact that, you know, every time we say give him a rest, Arteta, you know, gives us the finger.
It's because I mean, on that right hand side he carries the team, but he's look, for me, Saka in this game was fucking unplayable. I don't know. What do you reckon, Akpos? What would you rate him?
Yeah, I will give him a 9. You know, during the preview show when we talked about players we expected to grab this game on the neck, we both talked about Bukayo Saka, because for me, I think like it's a player who's coming from the Arsenal DNA. He understands the magnitude of this game, and with the way he was playing leading up to this game, we both were predicting that it would get a goal. It's a little bit a shame that they gave that goal as an own goal to Lloris. So I would have loved him to have that one, so that our prediction would have been spot on. So, but Bukayo Saka, I think defenders who will face him this season are going to have so much on their plate. So much on their plate. I think the other day Rio Ferdinand was saying something about that, how him as a defender, one of the top elite defenders we've seen play football in the Premier League, it would not have loved to face Bukayo Saka, because it's going to be on he's going to keep you on your toes for 90 minutes if you want to fix him. A lot of people when some players thought they could bully him because of his size, this guy has gone into the gym, did the work. We've seen some players who tried to give him the body, bouncing off him and all of that. So, but Bukayo Saka, for me, I think is a player that I'm excited to continue to see how it develops. As a Nigerian, I'm paying that he picked England over the Super Eagles, because I think like Victor Osimhen down the middle, Bukayo Saka down the right. I think teams would have been so scared to face the attack forward of the Super Eagles. So, bro, I'm wishing is a lad I want to see successful in everything that he does. I pray and hope he continues to wear the red and white JC of the Arsenal and he continues to develop as a player.
And I've got 10 out of 10 up for it's going to be 10. Come on, say it. It's all right. It's okay, but I wouldn't hurt you. I'm not going to go at you if you say 10.
Listen. The reason, when the thing is, all right. The reason why I'm going to give Saka the 10, because it was a big game. Okay, it was a big game, and what he did when he got that early goal, I think he got a lot of pressure. I think that pressure he got the pressure off the way from the fans and his teammates. So when he took that chance and he whacked it in and it reflectioned in, for that reason I give it 10 because he took a lot. Like I said, he took a lot of weight off people's chests, and then you could hear the away fans when Arsenal went 1-0 up, they never shut up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the team just woke up. So for that reason, he took a lot of abundance out of it. I have to give him a 10, innit? And he's my superstar, innit? You know, I love Saka. I can't give him. If it was me, I'd give him 15. But I'm going to give him a 10 because it's 10 out of 10, innit? So it's 10. So,
all right. The last but not least, I didn't do this on purpose. It's your boy Fuad, Eddie Nketiah, as I like to call him. I couldn't give him more than a 7 in this game. He didn't score. He missed a couple of opportunities. He was busy, but he wasn't as effective as he should have been. So I'm saying 7 for Eddie Nketiah. I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying if he had finished one of those chances, it could have been completely different. Now, Fuad, I'll let you go first because it's your boy. So your boy.
No, I like Eddie, bro. You know,
I know you like Eddie.
A lot of credit.
I know you like Eddie.
You know, Eddie Nketiah played out of his skin yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He played very well.
I'm waiting for
the
this.
Only thing that let him down
is his boot.
Even though he created his chances, but he never took their chances.
Yeah.
I would have given him a 10, but he never took their chances, innit? So, because we haven't won there for 9 years, and his name's on the team sheet, and a lot of fans said, we're not going to go there and move Eddie Nketiah. Can you see us beating Tottenham with Eddie Nketiah in the team? A lot of fans said that. So, for that reason, all right, I'm going to give Eddie Nketiah a 9.
I knew it.
For that reason, because fans said we're not going to win with Nketiah there, so I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay, Fuad's certain on a 9. Akpos, are you thinking 9 or 9?
No. I wouldn't go with Fuad on this one. I would say Eddie Nketiah an 8. But Eddie right now,
that's good for me.
Okay, Eddie right now seems to be winning over the doubters, the people who have doubted that Eddie Nketiah wouldn't be able to fill the big shoes that Gabriel Jesus left when he left vacant when he got injured, and I was one of them because I thought that we needed a player who is going to be more consistent, and consistency for me is the key because we've seen Eddie Nketiah put up very good performances when he played the cup games. We've seen patches of it in the Premier League, but to do it on a more consistent level is what we're beginning to see now that he has gotten into the team. This is what we want to see for me personally, because I think like the team will thrive from having players competing in place for places in this team. So what Eddie Nketiah did in the game for me, I think it was a good one. The only thing that was missing, like Fuad rightly said, was him not getting the ball on the back of the net in the net. But I think he played good. His link-up play with the players playing around him was very good. So, but I hope that it would continue to utilize these chances, because when we play some of these top teams, you might not get too many chances as a striker. If it's going to be one, put the ball on the back of the net, because that's what's going to count. Goals are going to win you games. So I hope that Eddie Nketiah in the next game, if it's going to be one chance, it should be one goal for me. But I want to big him up for his performance. Is winning me over, and I'm beginning to see a player that I want to see at the football club.
That's good. The last but not least, I've got Kenny. Kenny's going to give Eddie Nketiah a 5.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give Eddie Nketiah an 8 as well, because I thought I thought he ran the channels and he made things very difficult. I liked him to score. But even if he scored, I still would have given him an 8 anyway, because simple reason is that he did what I wanted. He got him behind the Spurs defence. He said he got himself in good scoring positions, and I don't tend to mark people down when they get into good scoring positions. I tend to mark them down if they don't affect the play, and he affects the play. So yeah, an 8 for me. Guys,
there you go. Players have been rated. The chit chat's been had. Fuad's got his way. He's got Eddie rated up high. Well, don't get me wrong, Eddie didn't play too bad. If he had got a goal, bloody hell, it would have been different. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. Tell us what you think about the player ratings. Tell us what you think about the game. Before I go, Fuad, where can they find you? Where are people going to find you?
Find me on Prince Fuad TV on YouTube and on Instagram, Prince Fuad TV. Just Prince Fuad on Instagram.
Akpos, where are you at, mate?
You can always find me if you're all West African and you speak Pidgin. You can always find me on Football and Pidgin across all the social media platforms. That's what we do for our West African brothers, for my Niger people. That's what we do. And also, you can also find me on the Football Talk Shop. That's a new one I have going on. So, and hopefully, you can always find me on Austin's channel, on the Arsenal shows, the Arsenal talks. Hopefully, I'm going to be here as much as I can this season.
And Kenny Ken, last but not least, you can find Kenny Ken everywhere, because if anyone's not talking to Kenny
You
Ken,
can find me everywhere, but you find me in the Emirates Stadium. Find
The
me
man, the myth, the legend.
the man, he's going to be Islington.
you go Islington, Finsbury Parks, all over the place, even other parts of the country. But you know, I do most of my magic at the moment on Instagram at KennyKane1972 because I'm a pest. I'm an absolute pest when it comes to you know, football stories and sports stories, and I'll give my opinion on it, and I try to. I don't mean to do it, but it can be thought provoking because I'm thinking, yeah, let's have a chat about it because a lot's happened in the football world. I've got no interest in Harry and Meghan. Forget it. I don't care. I don't care about you know, certain political things as well. Not bothered. Football. I know a few people don't like cricket, so I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Boxing is going to be on there, but mostly football and mostly Arsenal. So I'm never quiet. And my stories. I try and make my Instagram stories as interesting as possible.
Your stories are always on point, eh? It's every time I see Kenny Ken, I'm like, what's he doing now? What's he doing now? So, guys, if you haven't already checked out the boys' socials, I'm gonna put them in the description below. But guys, thanks for checking this out. Remember, London will always be red. Spurs are a shit show. We got Man United next. Everyone will be happy for that. We'll do a preview for that one. But for now, and from all the guys here, I'd like to thank everyone that's been on the show. And I'd like to say, Uru, guys. Uru.
Uru, uru, uru.
Good day.